Okay, let's be real. Have you ever gotten an assignment sheet and just stared at it, feeling completely lost? Well, you are in the right place. Today, we're going to decode the annotated bibliography. My goal is to give you a simple, step-by-step recipe that turns these tricky instructions into a fantastic paper. Yeah, these things can totally feel like a puzzle, right? They're packed with all these little details. But hey, don't worry. We're going to solve this one together, piece by piece, so you have a crystal clear path from start to finish. So, let's boil this whole thing down. When you strip away all the details, this entire assignment really just comes down to one magic number, 7. Your whole mission is to find, cite, and really dig into 7 high-quality sources for your research. But it's not just any 7 sources. You've got a specific formula here. You're going to start with one core primary source. That's the main thing you're analyzing. Then you'll bring in a supporting cast of 6 secondary sources. Think of them as the experts and scholars who are going to help you build your case. And this brings us to a really, really important idea, your research foundation. Seriously, don't think of this as just some busy work. This annotated bibliography is literally the blueprint for your final essay. Every single source you choose, every sentence you write, it's all part of the foundation for that much bigger project. And here's the great part. For every single one of those 7 sources, you're just going to rinse and repeat the same 4 steps. It's a simple pattern. First, a perfect MLA citation. Second, a bit about authority and audience. Third, an objective summary. And fourth, your evaluation. That's it. That's the roadmap for every single entry. All right, let's dive into our next section, the anatomy of an annotation. We're going to put one of these entries under the microscope now, breaking down each of those 4 parts so you know exactly what you're doing. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with that MLA citation, and it's absolutely non-negotiable. It's how you show you're part of the academic conversation. It's got to be perfect, right down to the hanging indent, where that second line gets scooted over. It's a small detail, but it's a total pro move. Up next, you're going to write a quick 2 to 3 sentence blurb about authority and audience. You're basically just answering a few simple questions. Who wrote this thing? Who were they writing it for? And this is the big one. How do those answers affect how much we should trust this source? This shows you're thinking critically about where your information is coming from. Okay, now we're on to the first of your 2 main paragraphs, the objective summary. And the keyword here is objective. You need to be a reporter, not a critic. Your only job here is to lay out the facts of what the source actually says. No opinions allowed. Now, what you summarize is slightly different depending on the source. And this is a subtle but super important point. For that one primary source, you're going to summarize the parts you plan to analyze later. But for all those secondary sources, your job is to summarize the author's main argument. See the difference? And this right here, this is the golden rule, pulled right from the guidelines because it is that important. You have to maintain an objective tone. No I think, no I feel, just the facts. You'll get your chance to share your own thoughts in the very next paragraph. Which brings us right to section 4, evaluating usefulness. Okay, so you've been the objective reporter. Now you get to put on your analyst hat. After you've laid out what the source says, it's time to explain why it matters and exactly how you're going to use it in your essay. Think of this slide as your guide. You want to check its credibility. Is it peer-reviewed? Look at the author's expertise. What are their credentials? Be honest about its strengths and weaknesses. And then the most important part, you have to spell out exactly how this source is going to help you build your argument. And a source can do a few different jobs for you in your essay, right? It could give you that perfect quote to support your point. Maybe it provides some really crucial background context, or, and this is a really smart move, it might actually present a counter-argument that you plan to tackle. Remember, not every source has to agree with you. Okay, you've annotated all 7 sources. The hard work is done. You are in the home stretch now. This last section is all about the final formatting checklist. It's about polishing up the little details to make sure your document looks perfect before you hit submit. This is just standard stuff for most academic papers, but it's easy to forget. Stick with 12-point Times New Roman, double space the whole thing, and keep those 1-inch margins. And here's the key rule for ordering. Your primary source is the star of the show, so it always goes first. Then, after your primary source, all 6 of your secondary sources need to be listed in alphabetical order by the author's last name. It's a simple check, but it's an easy place to lose points if you're not careful. And yes, we are talking about this one last time because it is that important. Please go back and double check that every single one of your 7 citations has that correct hanging indent. It's the visual cue that you know what you're doing. And a quick technical note for when you're ready to submit, make sure it's a Word document. The instructions are super clear about this. No PDFs, no Google Doc links. It's got to be a doc or a docx file to be safe. And finally, the deadline. Put it in your calendar, set a reminder on your phone, whatever you need to do. It's all due Monday, March 30th by 11:59 p.m. sharp. So there you have it. That's the complete blueprint for your annotated bibliography. Remember, this isn't just about checking a box or listing sources. It's about building a solid foundation for a really powerful argument. So now your foundation is set. The only question left is, what are you going to build on it?